Do it again down the centre of the course, coming with an electric finish. Do it again. He's coming at Rainbow Bridge. He's a board leader and he will do it again.
If you haven't noticed yet that Lyle Hewiston is back in South Africa and back in the winner's enclosure, then we suggest you take your head out the sand, because he's back, and he's certainly back in a big way. Nice to have him on the show with us this morning. Welcome to the GTV show, Lyle. How are you?
Hi, Warren and Graham. Thanks very much for having me. Always a pleasure, and I'm very well, thank you.
Good. Now, let's go through your rides for Hollywood Bets Scottsville. You've got a full book at this point in time, which is encouraging. Let's start off with your first ride, a horse called Bless My Path for Michael Roberts and Nick Johnson. Barrier trial was a little bit disappointing in the barrier trial, but we know that Michael Roberts brings his horses along slowly but surely.
Yes, I got a jump on him this morning. He's actually quite an impressive horse. Looking at him, he's a big, strong chestnut. I think he does have room for improvement still, but I think you're going to see a much better run in the barrier trial, and I'm just hoping that he could enter the frame. I think he'll run a much improved race.
Okay, then let's move along to the second race, where you've got Tyrells Bullet for Mr. Cornet's Spies, a horse that you haven't ridden before in a race. I'm not sure if you've ridden this horse at work, but he ran just the other day, and he looks to have a lively chance in this week maiden race.
Yeah, I would say he's definitely got a chance there. He's got a good draw. His run the other day seemed a nice pipe open over a distance too short. He ran fourth in the race that I won, and I think it's a form line that's probably going to hold up this time of year in Johannesburg. So coming down to Durban, going over his right trip from a good draw, he's a lively contender.
Okay, that's number 3, Tyrells Bullet in race 2. Then let's move along to the third race. Lyle, here's a horse that you know very well, and a horse that, as I said, knows you well, and a horse that knows KwaZulu-Natal well. Nice to see Before Noon back in town. How's he doing, and what are you expecting?
Yeah, I'm very happy to be aboard Before Noon. This time last year, he hit a purple patch of form, and he had his comeback run just a couple of weeks ago over the 18, which is too short. Then we backed him up very quickly over the weekend just after that, and he was a winner inside the 200, inside the 100, and got a little bit tired late and still only got beat 2.5 lengths. I think that from the good draw back at Scottsville and third run after his little bit of a rest, I think he's going to be spot on, and I think he's definitely one to include.
Okay, so that's for the owners, Mr. and Mrs. Tyrells, and of course Sean Terry Racing. So that's number 1, Before Noon, a must in all bets. Let's move along then. Now, during the week in the office here at Gold Circle in the media department, there's been great debate about Tilbury Fort, because we know he's good. We know he's a little bit off form at the moment, but could he bounce back to near best here? How's he doing back at home? Because he's always got a soft spot in our hearts, does Tilbury Fort.
Yes, same with me. He's got a soft spot in my heart. He's one of those horses that, even when he was in his purple patch of form, you never go to the races saying you can win it, and he just always surprised you and stepped up to the plate. But we're pretty stuck at the moment with where we are. He's working well, he's moving well, but he just seems to be lacking that little bit of zest in the race. 2 starts back, when I rode him just coming back in the Horse Chestnut Stakes, he actually ran according to his rating, and then disappointed last time. So, like I said, we're pretty stuck with him, but we couldn't be happier with how he's going back at home, and we're just hoping that he can show some life and run a good race, so we can know a bit more where to go from here.
Okay, lovely feedback. Thank you very much. And moving along swiftly to race 5, which is the first of the Group 1s, the Alan Robertson Championship. Graham's got a question to ask you, but he will in a moment. But for you, first of all, we're going to ask you about Ecstatic Green, the filly by Gimme the Green Light for your stable. The win 30 days ago was nothing short of breathtaking.
Yes, she's a little filly. I actually watched her first time out when I was in Hong Kong, and put her into the black book. And as soon as I got back, I asked Mr. Terry, please could I get aboard this one? Unfortunately, it wasn't meant to be, but she won very well that day with Luke. And I thought she's showing that she's furnishing nicely at the moment and still has a bit of scope. We're going to see how the draws play out. But she's quite a straightforward horse, which in these sort of races makes a big difference. And I'm looking forward to how she performs.
Okay,
Lyle, it's Graham here. I mean, the obvious question, and I'm sure you're expecting it, is that the short price favourite in the race is Winter Smoke, who won its debut by something like 9 lengths. And the relevant factor is here that you were aboard Winter Smoke when she won on debut. I know you're not riding her here. Do you wish you were?
Look, obviously I'm happy to ride for the yard and that, but I did actually speak to Mr. Terry and we were planning on riding. I was planning on riding Winter Smoke here, but it wasn't meant to be. Unfortunately, I didn't get the ride back. Very impressive horse, but we'll be going out there to test our filly against Winter Smoke as well.
Just last question then on the Winter Smoke situation, though. Given what you know of her and have seen of her and have felt aboard her, is Winter Smoke a worthy favourite for this race?
Yeah, she's worthy favourite. Look, on feel and on what I know, of course, I would say she's a worthy favourite, but times don't lie either, and she's got the fastest juvenile time over the 1,000 this season. So, yes, I think she ticks the boxes at this stage.
Okay, thank you, Lyle. Let's move along then to our next Group 1, which is the Golden Horse Medallion. And it goes off at 2:05, just to remind the viewers. You're riding a Slalom Queen, who's got very good form. You ran second to Mount Pleasant. That was a good win, and Mount Pleasant has come and run well since then. How's she doing, and what are you expecting from this good filly?
I'm actually looking forward to riding Slalom Queen again. My first win as apprentice was aboard Blizzard Belle, owned and trained by my dad, and this is Blizzard Belle's daughter. So, nice little story.
Yeah, nice story, but also when we say things like that, it means we're starting to get old.
Yeah, exactly. When I was apprentice and I heard jockeys talking about riding the daughters of other horses, I thought, geez, they've been around a while, and I'm already one of those. So. But I'm looking forward to riding her. I think she's stretched over the 1,200. I do think she's best over 1,000. But we're getting the 2.5, and we'll be giving it our best.
Okay, Lyle, that's. I wanted to ask you, what is the thinking behind running the filly Slalom Queen against the Colts in the Golden Horse Medallion, as opposed to taking her chances in the Alan Robertson? What's the thinking behind that?
Well, the way we looked at it is that all three of our fillies in the Alan Robinson were drawn on the outside, and we could have a grass gallop at home if we wanted all three to go together. So we decided to split them up and put one of them into the Colts race. And it's not necessarily that she was the right one for the Colts race. I think it's just the way we worked it out, and we put her in there from the inside draw, so we can test the outside and the inside in her race.
Okay, wonderful feedback, and lovely to chat to you. Let's move along then. The 7th race is, let me get my pages right, the South African Fillies Sprint Group 1, brought to us by The Witness, and we thank The Witness for stepping on board with us for this race meeting. Sing for Rafa, Corne Spies, a horse that you haven't ridden before in a race, but when you know you're riding for Corne Spies, you've got a bit of a chance. Yes,
he gets his horses well. Sing for Rafa got beat short head in the Ella Robinson last year over track and trip. It is also a stretch for her. She's a quick filly, and sort of will be hanging on towards the end. There's some really smart sorts in the race, but we'll be doing our best to hang on and earn some money. She ran a cracker last time in the computer form sprint over her right trip, albeit. But I was against stronger company in general, and I'm just hoping she could hang on, for a place.
Okay, the 8th race, the big one, or one of the big ones. We treated to so many big ones on Saturday. The Golden Horse Sprint. It's a tough race. Sean Terry has a very strong hand in the race, very strong hand. And as Graham and I said on the show a little earlier on, if he had to finish first, second, and third, we wouldn't be shocked. But you're riding Ikigai, the 3-year-old, and who's had a second over the distance before. The last run got the green light was good. What are you expecting?
Yes, I'm a fan of this horse. I think he's very progressive, and that is the only reason I could side with him over any of Mr. Terry's other runners is because I don't quite know where his scope ends just yet. I think he's got a lot of upside to him. We're pretty stuck on distance as well. We haven't worked out his best trip. But I think the ability's there, and I'm excited to ride him. He's probably got the ability to win this race or run just off them into the money. So I think we'll find out more trip-wise, but ability-wise, he's up there as a Group 1 horse.
Okay, well, that's lovely, positive talk. Okay, 2 more rides, Lyle. The 9th race, it goes off at 10 to 4, and Symphonico or Symphonico, whichever way they want to pronounce it, for Cornet Spies again. You've ridden this horse twice before?
Yes, I rode him a while ago when he was trained elsewhere, but he seems to have done quite nicely by Mr. Spies. I think 2 starts back, his win was very impressive. He obviously enjoys this winter growing, and he's a nice quick horse. He backed up pretty quickly the other day, and I thought it was a strong field. I think this is just a touch weaker than that. And, if he repeats his penultimate, he could be a runner here.
Okay, in your last ride, you'll be exhausted by the last race, but no doubt you'll be giving it your all right to the very end. Black Fox for Paul Lafferty. The post-maiden form is very good.
Yes, I don't know much about the individual itself, but like you say, his post-maiden form is good, and he's got consistent form in general, so he must have a chance just on paper. I'm sure Mr. Lafferty can give you more insight there.
Absolutely, and Graham just wants to ask you.
Lyle, the biggest obstacle you've got to overcome in the last race is that both Warren and I have tipped you to win it. Especially given the fact that he's won his only start over the course and distance. So if you can get past Warren and myself as tipsters, then you should win it.
Well, yeah, exactly. That's the biggest obstacle, so I'll do my best.
We've got to have a bit of a laugh. We've got to have a bit of fun. Yeah, absolutely. But we'll see you at the races, Lyle. Thanks for your feedback. Thanks for your contribution. As always, professionally assessed. Please send our regards to your mom and, of course, to your good lady as well. Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much. It's always a pleasure. Anything to promote racing. And, yeah, just thanks for having me on the show.
Excellent. That's Lyle Hewiston.